What's up, guys? So have you ever had one of those days where you want to just come home from work, you had a rough day, you want to grab your Game Boy from 1989, and you want to play some Tetris? Well, you get your Tetris in, you get it plugged into the game, you go to turn it on, and there's nothing that happens. It does not turn on, even though you were smarter than me and actually put batteries in it. A lot of things could be causing that, but one of the more prominent things is there's a good chance you might have corrosion on these contacts. But if you don't have the money for that, or you don't trust eBay, or you don't want to wait for them to show up, there's a way to actually clean them using a pretty standard household liquid that will get the corrosion cleaned off and get the contacts actually contacting again, so that way the batteries will work and you can get your Game Boy up and running. So let's take it to the table. We'll take this bad boy apart and I'll show you how to clean those. And here it is. I've got my soldering iron over here getting heated up, because we're gonna need that in a little bit. But I just want you to take a look inside here and really just get a look at how messed up these contacts are. This side here actually isn't too bad, but ooh, those there are rough. And we're gonna go ahead and clean all of them just to make sure that they're all good and working. So let's get the iFixit kit. Drop the lid here so we have somewhere to put the screws, and let's get to tearing it down. So there are, looks to be 6 screws in the body here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, and then 6. So let's just get those out. Let's open this bad boy up. Okay, moment of truth. Let's hope none of that corrosion got too big on the board. Doesn't appear to have, but we've got to get this ribbon cable free. It doesn't look like there's any pins holding it in, so this should just wiggle out. Right, like so. Good, that came out a lot easier than I thought it was going to. Luckily the board here doesn't seem to be in too rough a shape. We're definitely gonna wipe it down with some Icy Pro though, just to make sure that there's nothing wrong. And I already see the 2 points that we're gonna have to get at with a soldering iron. It is this guy right here and this guy right here. These are what are holding our battery contacts in place. So when we get this board loose, we're gonna take and remove those and get these cleaned. In order to do that, we got more screws to take out. It looks like there's 4 more. Keep our screws separated so we know which ones go where. So it looks like there's just 4 more screws. It looks like it's here, 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 and here. And this should just come right. Don't lose that. And don't forget to put it back in like I did. Okay, so the corrosion. So it looks like the corrosion got down to the bottom of the contact there, but it doesn't look like it got on the board. So that's really, really good. That's really good news. Our soldering iron should be getting close to being up to temperature. I'll just turn it around so I can get a better handle on what I'm doing. Right there. Just wriggle it free. There you go, that's one. And there we go. Beautiful. And we got those 2 off. Let's take some desolder wick. Let's make sure we clean out those holes. And now both of those holes right there and right there, we have air coming through them, which is exactly what we want. So now we can set this to the side for now because we are, for the time being, done with this. Next thing we're going to want to do is we need to get these contacts out of here. Luckily, they are just slid in place. So if you can just take some tweezers or something, come at it from the other side. There's these little clips holding them in. You just press it in, work it over, and then you can just push it right out. Ha! Fiddle with them enough, they'll come out. Here's the part that's really fun to watch. You can just get new contacts to replace these, or you can use something that you might very well have in your house somewhere, and that is good old white vinegar. I don't necessarily understand the science behind why this works, but the white vinegar will dissolve the corrosion. So we are just going to get a little cup here of the white vinegar, Now watch, when I drop this in, oh, let me get one of the bad ones. Watch what happens when I drop this in, okay? Just watch. It's already starting to react. You can see it, you can see the bubbles coming after it. Let's go on and drop all these in here. We're gonna leave them in here for 5-ish minutes or so. That one's particularly bad, so that one might, yeah, that one you can really see bubbling. Just gonna leave them in there for about 5 minutes or so, just to really make sure that they get cleaned off. So in the meantime, we're gonna take and we're gonna clean the rest of the, we're gonna clean a bit more of what we had going on here. Luckily, none of this looked particularly bad, but we're still gonna go ahead and give it a little TLC, just make sure that it's all good to go when we put it back together. And while this sits for just a little bit longer, we're gonna go ahead and clean out the case here, just to make sure that any leftover corrosion that might have flaked off is also gone. Don't forget to get the battery door as well. All right, that's been sitting, so I'm gonna go rinse these off, dry them off, and hit them with a bit of Icy-Pro just to make sure that the corrosion is gone as best we can get. So as you can see, that definitely did do a lot to help clean them off. There still is some parts of them that are a little squiffy, like that right there. And this here. But the actual like green corrosion is gone. I definitely need to look into replacing these soon, or at the very least that one. So we'll hit them with some Icy-Pro and get them back in the Game Boy and see if that got them working again, at least got it working again. Now we're gonna sit and just let these dry for a minute. Let the alcohol evaporate off, let the rest of what little bit of water's left, make sure it's gone, and then we'll get them back in the Game Boy and see if it fixed our problem. But now let's punch back in so you can really see what I'm doing here. So you can see where I'm soldering, because you can see the little tab right there. And then we're just gonna do our solder thing. Just make sure that gets held in place. Do the same thing here. Damn. That's not what I was supposed to do. I'm not surprised that happened, but also damn. All right, let's clean it up, do that, try that again. I'll say again, what I think this amounts to is that I'm kind of just dumb, and that I'm having to do this just to hold this in place because I don't want to tape it. You know, it would make it infinitely easier if I just taped it. You know what I'm not going to do? Tape it. Because you know what I don't have to do? Tape it. I'll just make sure that that's bent properly into place. We got good contact. Looks like we got good contact. Okay, let's put our boy back in place. We'll see what happens. So it looks like we still have one in here that's still pretty rough, that one right there, but it's not like green corroded anymore, and so it looks like we might be able to get metal contact back. Otherwise, that's definitely going to be the one I need to replace out of all of them. So let's finish putting this guy back together, and let's see if it did it, if this worked. So it looks like we have metal on metal contact. Let's drop Tetris in here. And hey. But now that it's fixed, we can actually we can put some bats in this boy, and we can get to playing Tetris. And the best part, this method is something that works for not just the regular old Game Boy, but it works for the Game Boy Pocket, the Game Boy Color, the Game Boy Advance, and really anything that uses AA batteries like this, or anything that's gonna get corrosion on battery contacts. I was having the same problem to the Game Boy as I was having to the Game Boy Pocket I have, and now it's fixed too. But that's gonna be it for me for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I look forward to bringing you even more helpful videos like this as the days go on. So again, thank you guys for being here, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a good one, y'all. Holy that worked. Should probably make sure you can see what I'm doing. Ow, 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 that hurt. Remember how I said don't do what I did and forget to put the switch back in? Yeah, I did. And then when I tried to put it in, I put it in backwards. So let's just take this out.